the change at 10 degrees cooler. I'll have more details on that change in about half an hour. Let's go.
Look forward to it. Thanks very much, Matt.
Time is just come up to 19 minutes past 7. Students are being robbed of their well-being as a result of the impact of social media. That is a warning from a leading teaching union.
And it comes amid calls for a review of the so-called digital age of consent, the point at which a child can lawfully agree to the processing of their data online.
We can talk now to Daniel Kadebi, who is General Secretary of the National Education Union, alongside Tony McCabe, who's head teacher at St Joseph's High School in Harwich. Very good morning to you. Maybe, Tony, the obvious way to start with you, with your experience. You're hands-on, you're a head teacher, you see it every day. What are you witnessing?
Well, mobile phones are banned within our schools, so if they're seen or heard, they will be confiscated from a young person. But we recognise that young people do bring mobile phones to school, so if they need to use a phone, they can ask permission and they'll be supervised while they call to say I'm attending extracurricular or something like that.
Okay, so in the school environment, you've got control over that.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have control of how much time they're spending on social media. Outside of that environment, how much does that concern?
An absolute massive issue. I stand at the school gates each day. It's not uncommon for a student just to take out their mobile phone, and sometimes I'll be saying, how many notifications have you received during the school day? Bearing in mind it's about 5.5, 6 hours. Sometimes there's in excess of 250 notifications that a young person has received during the school day.
Who from if all their school friends are aren't allowed to use the phones either?
I can only imagine that they're social media notifications, so that what a young person might have searched for, that the really clever algorithms tailor the content to that young people to give updates about about the particular person that they're following. And sometimes that can be really dangerous influences that have ideologies that are unhelpful.
Daniel, let's talk to you. I mean, when you hear of this, I mean, I feel anxious just thinking I just have 250 notifications, on my phone. There's more to us. I mean, it's time consuming. You can get dragged into rabbit holes, wormholes, can't you? I mean, what is the impact you are seeing in terms of how this is affecting young people, the concentration levels, confidence?
Yeah. I mean, so I was a teacher, I'm also a parent, and I also, like everyone else, find myself as an adult losing an hour doom scrolling on social media. It's incredibly difficult for adults to regulate their use of social media, and it's even harder for children and young people. What we do know is 40% of under 13s have a social media account. 30% of their use is driven by algorithms, so it's highly addictive, and children are spending around 35 hours a week on social media. I'm very grateful for growing up in a time when social media didn't exist. What we believe, and I certainly believe, trying to even manage my 7-year-old watching YouTube, is social media is robbing children of their childhoods, and their attention is being harvested by big tech giants in the pursuit of profit. And just like alcohol or tobacco, both highly destructive and addictive substances, social media should be regulated in that same way. So we are calling for the digital age to be raised to 16, but we'd also like space on the school curriculum guaranteed so that children can learn about digital literacy. And also I think there should be a windfall tax placed on these big corporations so that that money can be invested in dealing with the child mental health crisis that we're currently in the midst of.
I should say, obviously, we approached a number of media companies, social media companies. TikTok told us it has a number of protections in place for teens, including tools for parents to set time limits, block apps, restrict searches. Snapchat said it has protections in place and is working with experts to develop new safety features. Meta and YouTube didn't respond to our inquiry, and the government has said it is taking steps to protect children online, ensuring they can safely benefit from the digital world.
Tony, you're well placed to think. You must have thought about this. You and your staff must have thought about what could government do what regulations could be? You're doing what you can within your school, over which you have control. Outside of that, what would be the thing that is achievable and would make a difference?
I think greater pressure on the tech giants to put in those regulations and to monitor the use of young people's
What does
social
pressure
media.
like to you?
So pressure might be to raise the age of which a young person can access certain social medias, as Daniel suggested there. But it might also be to enforce that parents that are paying the bill for the child are putting very strict regulations and blocking certain apps during school hours, ensuring that the young person can make sensible choices. But also be calling for the government to fund schools better, because there's a lot of good that can come from social media. We've got to recognise that. So we can't just completely ignore the fact that mobile phones exist.
Can I ask you a question? Yeah, you were talking about the effect it has on young people. Presumably there was a time when your school did have phones in the school. Do you think you could look at a young person